Innovations are on the horizon. Welcome back to another edition of What's Next, Living Longer, Better, Smarter. This episode is made possible by the AgeTech Collaborative from AARP, leading a global mission to improve people's lives as they age. I'm Fred Fishkin, along with Mary Furlong. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Fred. It's always fun this time of year to take a look at the new and exciting technologies that are happening. And we have the perfect guest today.
We do. We'll be hearing from the Consumer Technology Association Foundation, busily preparing for the 2024 CES, the big consumer electronics show in Las Vegas. But first, also getting ready for CES, we want to welcome AgeTech Collaborative from AARP, Director of Collaborative Engagement, Sasha Spellman. Hi, Sasha.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Fred. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Sasha, I know it's been a busy time for you and fun celebrations with your new little one. So we hope your holiday season has been really special. So for some in our audience who may not be aware of the great work you're doing, tell us about the AgeTech Collaborative. And I have to say, I'm very proud of how fast you have grown this over the past few years.
Thank you. Yeah, we're so excited to see how it's grown as well. And yeah, just to give a little context on what the AgeTech Collaborative is for those who may not know, what we're building is an innovation ecosystem focused on age tech. We're looking to bring together the cutting edge thinkers in the longevity tech space, including Mary Furlong and your incredible team. You're part of our ecosystem. And our goal is to support solutions that enable everyone to choose how they live as they age. And so we're positioned well to do that at AARP because we have this decades-long group of insights that focus on the longevity space. And then we also have this incredible convening power that supports our community of innovators. So yeah, in terms of the growth, we have, since launching, we've grown to over 360 organizations that have joined the ecosystem. 139 of those are age tech startups, and then the rest of it is a makeup of investors, test beds, larger corporations, and business services as well. And then, what does the Age Tech Collaborative do? Well, we work to accelerate impact in the age tech space through working with the best and the brightest age tech startups, but also connecting the age tech community and then driving thought leadership in this space. So we run a number of pitch events throughout the year. We also have an accelerator program in-house that helps the startups for 8 weeks accelerate their solutions and refine their platform. And then we've also built the AgeTech Collaborative platform as well to connect the entire community. So we're super excited about the growth, and I think you'll see some of that coming up at CES.
Well, just amazing. The 2024 Consumer Electronics Show, CES, as you say, it will be getting underway January 9th. And the AARP, along with the collaborative, you're going to have a really big presence, aren't you?
Yes, it will be our biggest yet. I think we say that every single year, but it's true. We have really grown our presence at CES considerably. So just to touch on some of the things that we have planned. So first, there's our booth, which will be 12,000 square feet of space with 19 of our most innovative age tech startups. Our companies will be solving for accessibility, digital health, smart home, social engagement. We also have a number of unique activations and experiences happening as well. So we'll have the Samsung Health House, which will be a collaborative showcase featuring 10 more of our startups. The house will show technology and solutions that support sustainable healthcare experiences. And so the goal is for this activation is to envision a future where data for multiple point solutions are created, can provide a holistic view of someone aging in their home. We'll also have the MIT Empathy Lounge. So the MIT Age Lab will be there with us and will basically allow attendees to actually experience what it's like to age firsthand. So they're going to have this product called the MIT Agnes suit, where you can try on the suit and learn what's like living with arthritic hands, limited mobility, or sight.
You're not going to cause anybody any pain doing that, I hope.
No, I know, no, ideally not. No, but it should be pretty cool, I think. And then we also have Freestyle Plus that will be exhibiting with us, which they have an activation where you'll be able to experience how to keep your brain activity healthy through fun and engaging ways of play. And we're doing that on our stage as well. And then outside of that, we also have a few events going on. So Wednesday, or day 2 of CES, is a really big day for us. We have our AgeTech Summit. So there'll be 2 sessions on the official CES show schedule. We'll have Guy Raz from How I Built This from NPR that will be moderating both sessions. And the first one kicks off at 10 a.m. with our CEO, Joanne Jenkins. And we'll have UTK and Anthony from Freestyle Plus that will be talking again about the power of freestyle rap and how that can help with cognitive health. And then we have the second session will be featuring Andy Miller, the head of the AgeTech Collaborative, and then Han Pak, who is the head of digital health at Samsung, to talk about the state of smart devices and the AgeTech market. Finally, in the evening, we have our AgeTech After Dark pitch competition, which we're 5 startups pitching for $10,000. So a lot going on.
I think it's going to be fun to hear Andy, and he's going to be speaking with someone on soccer, right? The soccer clubs and rapid cycle innovation. Yeah. I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah. We have the LAFC as part of the AgeTech Collaborative, so they'll also be participating in some of the discussions.
I think it's important to mention that the collaborative has brought in companies from a variety of industries, but it's exciting to see the presence that Samsung has here and to see their commitment to this. So I know you're going to be tackling some really big issues. I'll be fascinated by all of it. And we'll actually be there in person this year, Fred. So such a great group looking at mobility, hearing, cognitive issues, health. So really wonderful to be back in person, to see the growth, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We're so excited. We're excited that you and your team will be there as well. And yeah, we have startups in a number of spaces that will be exploring again, accessibility, digital health, social engagement, and more. So we hope folks can come by and check out those companies.
And you're making some of this a lot of fun too. This is not just going to be, I mean, there's the serious issues, of course, that you're tackling, but you're going to have some fun there.
We are. I mean, just with those unique experiences that I talked through, just the fact that Freestyle Plus is such a big part of our activation, both in our booth and on the summit stage, I think will be a fun way to experience ways that you can keep your cognitive health just more alive and in tune.
Did I see a mention of a Jeopardy game going on or something?
I think there might be. Yeah, there's so many things that I might even be in tune of, that our events team is planning, or some, there are some sneak peeks that we can't announce yet, but are coming.
And Fred, our friend Ted Fisher of Ages Innovation will be there along with Greg Olson, I think, from the state of New York. So we'll have gone from the press club in Washington to CES. So we're going to be participating live with podcasts on Thursday, the 11th, from 1 to 5. We'll be talking with some great guests. There'll be a live audience, and we plan to bring much of that onto this podcast as well. So we're real excited. I know there's tech support there, right? It is CES. And we're very excited for you, Sasha, and look forward to seeing you and your whole team there.
Yes, yeah, we're so excited. And yeah, the podcast booth will have startup interviews going on. And then we're so excited to have Mary and Fred as well. They're doing some interviews in our booth. So can't believe it's only a couple weeks away. It always comes up sooner than you think. But yeah, it should be a good time.
Yeah, you'll have podcasts going on. We'll be participating in podcasts on the Thursday, the 11th, but you'll have podcasts the day before, and maybe the day before that as well.
Yeah, I think the schedule I saw mostly on Wednesday. It'll be a lot of what's cool. It's going to be startup stories. So we'll have some of our we're calling them legacy startups that have been with the lab, well, AARP Innovation Labs, but the AgeTech Collaborative for some time now. So we have Rendeavor and Tembo Health helping with some interviews for the other companies that are participating and maybe a little bit newer. So that should be cool to see the founder to founder conversations happening.
And 130,000 people coming to CES, according to CTA, correct?
I think that's right, which is great to see the growth continue to happen post COVID. I think pre-COVID it was 180, but it's nice to see that we're getting back there.
Yes. Well, I think it's the quality, and nobody shines a bigger light on AgeTech than the work you're doing. So exciting to see it all.
Thank you once again, Sasha. Stay well and have a happy new year.
Thank you, Mary and Fred. Thanks again. And if there's any other questions on what the AgeTech Collaborative is doing at CES, you can always visit us at ces.agetechcollaborative.org.
What's next is right there in our name, Mary. And CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, is all about what's next. Right in the heart of it all is the Executive Director of the Consumer Technology Association Foundation, Steve Ewell. And he is our next guest. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Fred. Hey, Mary. Great to see you both. And we're really excited for CES coming up here very quickly.
We're so happy to have you join us again on this podcast, Steve. And we know you're really busy these days leading up to CES. So before we dive into some of the highlights, why don't you take a minute and tell us about the important work the CTA Foundation does? We're really so honored to have you here.
Well, thank you, Mary. That means quite a bit. So the CTA Foundation, we are the charitable foundation associated with a trade association, the Consumer Technology Association. And then why I'm here talking about CES is because CTA also runs CES. But we launched the foundation actually just about 11 and a half, going on 12 years now, years ago, as a way to give back on behalf of the industry. And when we did that, we looked around at where our industry could make a big impact and what populations were not getting the attention that we thought they otherwise deserved. And so our foundation is dedicated to using technology to help both older adults as well as people with disabilities. And it's been really just incredible over the last as I said, dozen years of seeing the growth in this area. And a lot of that is based off the work that the two of you have helped popularize and raise. So thank you for the work that you've done.
And some of those populations that you're talking about, what have you been focused on?
So certainly social connection is one of the big issues that we see in this area, and an opportunity for technology to make a difference, but really it's across the board. So things like just technology education. So through our grants programs, we've been able to work with organizations like OATS with their Senior Planet programs, like Oasis, a variety of other organizations that are providing that kind of technology education. We do a lot of work around health issues as well. So we're working with an organization in DC called Mary Center around telehealth access, but other programs along those lines. It's really, how can we help people of all ages and abilities live, work, and play independently? And I really think technology holds the power to be able to provide those opportunities.
Well, January 9th is opening day for CES 2024 with attendees and exhibitors from all over the world. Really is an amazing organizational and logistical feat when you think about it.
Oh yeah, we've got people already out in Las Vegas setting things up, so we will be ready to go. But we are really excited for this year's show. We've got an incredible number of exhibitors from all over the world, as you mentioned. We'll have over 1,000 startups from all over the world as well, and we're expecting around 130,000 attendees. And once again, about a third of those are international attendees. So we're really excited. There's a great energy for this show, and I have no doubt it's going to be an amazing one.
And Steve, you've been an advocate for disability and aging for decades, I think. And now we see the disability market converging on the aging market, right? As more older adults have chronic conditions. So the foundation is doing some exciting things this year. Let's talk about the pitch competition.
So yeah, so the pitch competition, this is one of my, I feel like I always say everything's my favorite event. It's hard to choose, but this really is probably one of the higher profile activities we do at CES for the foundation. And it's right there in Eureka Park, which is the home of the startups at CES. On the stage. This is our 6th year running this competition. We go out to all of the various startups that are exhibiting at CES and invite them to submit to potentially pitch. We've now narrowed it down to 8 companies that will be pitching. And then each year we do choose a little bit of a different take on technology that's helping either older adults or people with disabilities. So this year it's a health tech theme. So we've got 8 incredible companies from everywhere from the US to Canada to the Netherlands. I think we've got a couple Netherlands Dutch companies. We've got a Swiss company in there. So we'll have 8 different very different types of takes on health tech products, but each of them get a chance to get there on the stage at CES, make their pitch. We've got a couple incredible judges that will be reviewing, so they pick our grand prize, but we also do an audience survey. So that's actually, I always love seeing the difference between what the judges are going for versus what the audience picks as their winner. So it's a great opportunity for us to really give some great exposure to some of these companies that are really innovating in the health tech space for older adults and people with disabilities. And then certainly we'll be sharing the video and recording and everything afterwards so we can continue to promote the great work that they're doing.
And how are the finalists selected? I mean, there's so many companies, Steve.
Oh yeah, no, it's a whole, we've got a group of people who help us review. So we go through all the entries and essentially kind of each of us rates the different companies based on several criteria. And ultimately it does come down to, I mean, we had to choose 8 based on the time that we have on the stage, but I could have easily, doubled the time and had, double the number of companies pitching and wouldn't have seen a big drop in the quality of companies. So there are really some amazing products out there. So we go through and do that review, and that'll help us select, or that did help us select the companies that are pitching. And then we have a separate set of judges that will be evaluating on site. We have a gentleman named Jeremy Brown from CF Health Advisors. We have a woman named Shanna Lawler from Two Rays and Totipotent Capital. We have Dr. Susan Malinowski, who's our surgeon for Retina Consultants of Michigan. And then we actually have an additional judge who's joining us based on one of our partners, Lance Bailey with healthysimulation.com, who we've partnered with an organization called the Patient Safety Technology Challenge this year. So he's going to be a judge for their award, which they're adding on based on which of these 8 companies pitching does the best to address patient safety. So they've got several criteria as well. So we'll have that additional award to offer too.
Eureka Park at the Venetian is always exciting too, with startups from every place. And you have an accessibility contest there?
Yeah, so this is another opportunity for us to engage with startups. So actually back over the summer, we went out to startup companies, and this is, wide area as far as all they had to do was address how their technology could benefit either older adults or people with disabilities. They didn't have to be dedicated to only those populations. It was restricted to only US or Canadian companies. Gets you into all kinds of international contest rules, but we had an amazing group of companies submit, and we choose 5 each year. This is our 8th year running this contest, and we give them a free booth in Eureka Park. We give them a little bit of money because we know it costs money for the startups to be there at CES for the week. And then we'll give them a whole lot of attention. So we've got really incredible companies this year. We've got a company called Concha Labs. They're doing an over-the-counter hearing aid, which this is something that CTA is very excited about. It's been a big policy issue for the association. And then we've just recently celebrated 1 year that over-the-counter hearing aids could be on the market. So we're really excited to have them and the product that they're developing there. We've got a company called Dreamface, which is doing a robot called Ryan, which is the robot you always need, and it is a social engagement robot designed for the aging population. So I'm very curious to see that robot in action right there on the show floor. We've got a product called Glidance, which is basically a self-driving mobility solution for the blind and low vision. So essentially, it takes the white cane and helps with navigation. So once again, that'll be an incredible product to see in action in a location like CES. One that I thought was really interesting is a company called OneCourt. Once again, addressing needs for the blind and low vision community. But how do you watch sports if you're blind? You can certainly listen to the radio, but especially if you're live, you might hear everyone cheer, and then a few seconds later, all of a sudden you figure out what actually happened. So they're creating a haptic tablet where you can basically feel. So if you're watching, basketball or soccer or football, you can actually feel where is the ball moving around, where are the various players on the court or the pitch or whatever, for depending on the sport. So I'm really looking forward to feeling that and experiencing how you can follow sports in a haptic fashion. And then the last is a company called VisionAid. They're actually our local winners this year. They're based out of Las Vegas, but they're creating a augmented reality solution that basically helps people experience or see different types of vision loss. So it can be very helpful, certainly, for anyone who's just curious what different types of vision impairments might be like, but also as you look at developers and others as they're developing products to better understand the needs of their potential consumers based on, trying it out with these different types of vision loss. So really looking forward to seeing them as well.
Wow, that's a really exciting roster of companies, all attending to important issues for older adults and people with disabilities. So another award will go to an organization fighting social isolation. And you and I have been at that issue for a long time, since we started SeniorNet 30 years ago. So tell us about your social isolation competition.
Yeah, and this one is one that's, very important to us because, as I said, and Mary, you're absolutely right. You've been doing this work for so long, and we just feel like we're hopefully stepping in and being an additional assistance here. But our founding chair is a gentleman named John Shalom. He was the founder of AudioVox, now Vox International. And when we were setting up the foundation, he was really one of the big drivers on why we need to address aging and in particular social isolation. So just about 3 years ago now, we created an award, and it's named after John and his wife Jane, because both of them have been incredible advocates for this issue. And this award goes to, it could be an organization, it could be a person, it could be a technology, but someone or something that is using technology to address the needs of or socially connect people, combat social isolation for older adults. I can't actually share the winner yet. People have to come to our pitch competition and they'll get a chance to see John and Jane there and see us offer up the award. But we've got a great organization that has done really incredible work in this space. So I'm looking forward to recognizing them, and I'll certainly be sharing it out as soon as it goes live. But yeah, this is such an important issue to both John and Jane, but also to us as an organization, and really, everyone working in this space, that we really felt like there needed to be an opportunity to recognize organizations and people working in this space.
Well, I love that you're doing that. And you also have what's called a Funders Tour.
So so we have this Funders Tour. This started a couple years ago as a partnership with Grantmakers in Aging. And what I found as we were working with our partners at GIA is there were a lot of foundations. There's a lot of foundations that are very interested in aging, but most of them were a little hesitant about technology. They weren't quite sure what was going on with technology. They didn't see that as necessarily their role. And so what we started doing was inviting them to come out to CES and get a chance to explore the show floor together, see some of the trends that are happening. And, what I told them is I'm not expecting these foundations to become VCs. What I'm expecting is they can better understand what are some of the trends going on, whether you're funding in housing or food or social connection or whatever issue you're addressing in aging. Better understanding the trends of technology will enable you to work with the organizations you're funding to have a stronger program. So we used to call this our Grantmakers Tour. Last year, for some reason, I don't know quite why, but all of a sudden we had a bunch of VCs and other types of funders, government funders, want to tag along. So we said, sure, I'm happy to have them. So we've renamed it this year as our Funders Tour. We have there's, I feel like 30, 40 people who are planning on being there, from a variety of everything from private foundations to government funded organizations to investors and others interested in this space. And we're actually going to take 2 days. We're going to spend one morning exploring the Venetian and all those startups and companies there, as well as the upstairs at the Venetian with AARP and their booth and other smart home solutions. And then the second day we'll go and explore the convention center, where you see some of the big central hall companies, the digital health, and maybe if we have time, we're going to try to make it over and see some of those vehicle tech solutions as well. But once again, it's really about building that network and building the understanding of what are some of the trends and how might that impact different types of funders.
That's very exciting. So congratulations on all of these amazing efforts.
Don't forget the comfortable shoes.
Yes.
That is absolutely the case. Comfortable shoes and water to address the dehydration out there. So
Steve, we just produced our Longevity Innovation Summit. We saw this new amalgamation of different kinds of constituents, from government to foundation to venture at all levels, being interested in this. So I totally support your Funders Tour. I think it's very exciting. We can see these global partners coming in to learn more and see the innovation first time. It really does change their minds when they see it happening in real life. So very exciting developments at CES this year.
I'm excited and can't wait to see it all. And I look forward to exploring that show floor with you.
Mary, the CTA Foundation and AARP and the AgeTech Collaborative are really getting the new year off to a great start in highlighting all of these innovative startups.
Yes, there are so many companies creating amazing solutions to help us live longer, better, smarter.
Sounds like the name of a podcast.
Yes.
If you happen to be heading to CES, our podcasts from the AgeTech Collaborative will be at booth 53623 in the Venetian Expo Hall, Level 2. We'll be live from 1 to 5 Pacific time on Thursday, the 11th, and we hope to bring you many of those discussions online here as well.
Fred, it will be exciting and we hope interesting. So it will be wonderful.
It will be. So we want to thank our sponsor for this edition, the AgeTech Collaborative from AARP, leading a global mission to improve people's lives as they age. And we so appreciate all of you for listening or watching. Have a very happy and healthy year ahead.